Story time of how I survived college and got a mental illness.
Story time again. Y'all asked for it, so here it is. We got story time again. We're not crying tonight. We're not gonna cry on this video. We're not gonna cry on this video. We're not gonna cry on this video. We ain't crying tonight on story time, y'all. So story time about how I survived college and got my mental illness or whatever. Put my ring on so my husband can protect me through the ether or whatever. So college started off nice to me. Now, mind you, my dad had a mental illness or whatever, and it trickled down in all his kids. My dad had 9 kids or whatever. So the mental illness came out in about 4 or 5 of us. I think about four of us. The mental illness came out. Me, my brother, and 2 of my big sisters. One of my sisters died during COVID from breast cancer. That's neither here nor there. So college started off for me really, really nice. I was young, dumb, and full of fucking cum. I'm just saying. Of course, I had a nigga at the time. I was fresh out of high school, went straight to college. You know what I'm saying? 2 months after summertime was over. I went through college. And, freshman year was rough. I didn't do good. My GPA was like a 2.2. So sophomore year comes and I basically move off campus with my nigga at the time, my college boyfriend. The abuse didn't start then, but I did get pregnant. My one and only child. And here's where the tears are going to come in at. I aborted a child, and my relationship with my guy was never the same. My relationship with my family was never the same. I wanted my degree so bad that I didn't want to have a child with that man to be tied to him for the rest of my life that I aborted a child, my one and only child I've ever been pregnant with, and I haven't been, blessed to be pregnant with another child since then. This is 22 years ago, back in like 2001 through 2002. I aborted a child. Ain't never been pregnant since. Any guys that's ever see this video, if you gave me money for abortion and I told you that I was pregnant and I needed money for an abortion, I wasn't. It was just to get that money up out of you and leave you alone. That was like my exit plan. That was my exit plan for a long time with a lot of guys. I get pregnant and they give me the money for the abortion and then I would leave them alone because they was abusing me. They was abusing. I'm talking about men have abused me. That's why I speak so adamant and so highly of my husband, because my husband ain't never ever abused me, not the way these men have. Anyway, so my relationship with my boyfriend at the time in college was never the same. He started to abuse, mental, verbally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, but he never put his hands on me. And he's the only guy to this day that I can say that, never, no woman ever came up to me as a woman. And so junior year, still living off campus, doing better in school, still coping with the fact that I killed my child, you know what I'm saying? So senior year, and mind you, I was an English major or whatever, so I had to read so many books. I'm talking about by senior year, I was reading. By the end of my senior year, I had read almost damn near 2, 3, 4,000 books. I ain't gonna say 4,000 by the end of senior year, but senior year, I must have read 2,000 books on its own. I'm talking about essays, short stories. So basically, yeah, senior year, I graduated, and that's when it struck me. You know what I'm saying? But I got that degree by the grace of God because goddamn, I killed my child. You know what I'm saying? Was having issues with my boyfriend. My senior year, my last English class, a black woman failed me. A black woman, I ain't never made an F a day in my life in my whole school career. But a black woman failed me, and I had to go to summer school for like 2 months, driving back and forth, whole hour away back and forth to them because I had already moved back home. Mental illness hit me and I was going crazy. I pulled up to my ex house. My ex boyfriend, I'm talking about, this is the dude I was with when I was 12 years old. I pulled up to his house and was going crazy, and he never forgave me. You know what I'm saying? He never, looked at me the same after I pulled up to his house going crazy on him and his sisters and his mom. And, but anyway, so more to the story is school came first for me. I very much pushed the fact on my ladies and my gentlemen, school first, because we ain't crying tonight. We ain't crying tonight. We ain't crying tonight. If you know that little tune. Anyway, but yeah, I just, the mental illness was already trickling down to me, but when I killed my child and then 2 years later, I failed my last class about to graduate. I still walked across the stage, got my degree, but I had to go to summer school like for 2 months, 3 months straight, the whole summer, driving back and forth. Mind you, the whole time I'm mental illness. I'm seeing stars. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing stuff and hearing voices is not real, but I got through it. one of the hardest things I've ever endured in my life, one of the proudest things I've ever endured in my life. And I moved back home after I finally got my degree or whatever. And that's when my life kind of started. I didn't know my name. I didn't know nothing. I went into a mental hospital. I had to start my life over again. At the age of 22, it was an early midlife crisis. I got through it. One of the hardest things I ever in my life had to get through. One of the proudest moments is when I walked across that stage. Even though I had killed my child, I was already mentally ill, and I just blacked out. And I don't remember a whole lot after the blackout up till the time after I got out of the mental hospital and I moved back in with my mom or whatever. Gone. But I do want to shout out one person. I met him a year later when I started back working a year later after I did get a little bit of sense. I mean, I was paranoid for a long time. I had paranoid schizophrenia, by the way. I was paranoid for a long time. For a whole year, I was just in the house, didn't go nowhere. Had to learn life stuff all over again. How to walk, how to talk, how to think. I had no thought process, no thought pattern or whatever. So I just want to shout out to my little friend guy I met at a disability conference in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am not saying his name because I don't want to get sued later on in life, but he put me back on, to life. He helped me get back on my feet. He helped, put the love back in my heart. He helped put my mind back together. He taught me everything I knew about football. And, me and him dated for a very long time. He had a mental illness as well. So shout out to you if you ever see this video. I salute to you, GM. I say GM. Those are his initials or whatever. I remember him. He was the one guy to put me back into, in the spirit of being Sharifa. That's story time. I know it's not as exaggerate of the Juicy video, but that's just, I live with the mental illness today and I take medicine for it. And if you ever wonder why, I am who I am and why I do things, my mind is damaged. Part of my brain is damaged. I don't know what part and what, area of my, mind and thought process that it affects. But yes, I do live with the mental illness and hey, it is what it is. And I did abort my child to be able to get my degree in college and graduate. School first. I love y'all.